everybody. Welcome to my channel. I don't really know what type of channel this is yet, so I'll just call it my channel for now. Today I wanted to try a soft-spoken tarot reading. Figured this could be a little bit of fun for two of us. I really enjoy tarot and divination and spirituality, so I figured it was something that I could share with you, if that's okay. So we have 3 piles. I'm still new to reading other people's energies, so you'll have to bear with me. This is pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. So before you decide on a pile, I think it's a good idea to take a couple of deep breaths, just to calm yourself and detach from thoughts that may interfere with your choosings. So I can go ahead and do that with you, and I'll guide you through it. Breathe along and close my eyes too. So, ready? Close your eyes. Go ahead and take a long, deep breath in. And hold at the top of your lungs for a few seconds. 2, 3. And exhale. Just like that. I'm going to do it 2 more times, okay? In and hold. 3, 5, 6, and exhale. The key here is to be mindful about our breathing, so one more time. In and hold. And release. Wonderful. So, you can go ahead and pick your pile. I will give you a couple of seconds while I go ahead and I try to light this candle for us to help us connect with spirit and our guides. And I will a little bit closer so you can hear it. I've had this lighter for quite a while. There we go. I can't really keep this in the frame, so go ahead and set it down next to us. Okay, so I will see you at your reading, and if you don't want to pick a reading, that's perfectly fine. You can just go ahead and listen to all of the readings. And as a reminder, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't resonate with you. You are in complete control of your future. This is just simply reading the energy that is currently surrounding you, and we're going to go ahead and figure out what it is that your spirit guides want to say to you, what message they have for you, what advice or what warnings perhaps, and what we can do about that. Okay. I love you so unconditionally, and I am so grateful that you are here on my channel. Okay. See you at your reading. Bye. I have pile number 1, so if you chose this crystal, this is going to go ahead and be your reading. So I've already gone ahead and shuffled the cards, flipped them over for you. We are going to pull some more out. I just didn't want to shuffle these on camera and then be shuffling all the other ones on camera because I'm already going to be doing that. So unless you don't want me to shuffle like all of them on camera, I can definitely do that for you. So Our first card is the Four of Pentacles. We have the Six of Pentacles in the upright. We then have the Hierophant upright. And we have the Three of Pentacles in the reverse. So immediately what I'm sensing from this is that there's a bit of feeling of inadequacy or perhaps lack of fulfillment. The Pentacles tends to talk about physical resources around us, health, things in the material world, really. So I feel like perhaps you may be sitting too much on the idea of materialistic gain, or maybe you've already gotten this materialistic gain, or you have an idea that you think could perhaps get you, I live next to a freeway. Ooh. That perhaps, perhaps you've had an idea that you think could get you a lot of material wealth, but what I'm seeing is that there's more to be gained than just the affluence from this idea, from this concept, or even just the abundance that you might have recently come into contact with. I feel like this is about looking a little bit further than what is directly in front of you and seeing how can I execute this idea while, sharing the experience, be it the planning, the actual execution of it, figuring out all these details, because the Hierophant really is about wisdom, kind of looking beyond the surface of things. Yes, it talks about intelligence and knowledge, but it's more than just mundane, miscellaneous knowledge. And you see in the Six of Pentacles, this person is being generous. They are sharing their offerings. So perhaps this is maybe sharing an idea, or some newfound wisdom. It might even be newfound wisdom for you. And I feel like this is telling you to share it, because when we have the Three of Pentacles upright, it talks about teamwork, it talks about collaboration with other people, but in the reverse, it usually indicates, a sense of needing to control of, be it yourself or just controlling other people around you, the people that you're supposed to be working in collaboration with. And I think this is maybe asking you to look at the bigger picture, look beyond what is directly offered to you, besides the perhaps material gain that you can get out of this. And it doesn't necessarily have to be money either. Again, it does talk about our health. And both of these cards we have, I feel like you're perhaps these two people, and there's something that you are holding on to, something that could be really useful and benefit the greater good of everybody, but for whatever reason, you don't really feel inclined to at the moment, or maybe you're not sure how. And I think collaborating with other people, I think getting together with other, not, getting physically together, but getting, virtually together with other people, connecting, might bring you out of this feeling of stagnancy, of maybe this idea that I'm holding on to, this knowledge, this whatever I'm holding on to. It's just simply not benefiting me at the very most when I just keep it to myself. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle some other cards. This way I'm going to clarify for a message. Group number 1. Okay, here we go. Okay. So the swords, the suit of swords usually talks about our thoughts, our ideas, the way that we're perceiving these thoughts, so our perceptions of the world. So perhaps you are in this period of isolation, of feeling like, well, nobody's going to listen to me. Why would anybody want to hear me out, you know? And I think this is talking about having control, not control, I don't want to say control necessarily, but having the ability to sort of overcome those doubts, those concerns about, well, perhaps nobody's going to hear me out. Why would I share this with anybody else? It's not going to serve anybody else. Why would I connect with other people about this? It just doesn't seem logical or useful, but I don't think it's about it, immediately making sense to you. I think it's just accepting that this idea or this abundance, whatever it is that you've come into, is something that other people should hear, should see. Maybe not the whole public sphere. Maybe it's sharing this with some friends, sharing this knowledge, this abundance, this something that you've recently come into contact with that is not bringing you the type of fulfillment that you thought it would. But it's not because it doesn't necessarily belong to you or it isn't right for you. I think it's just you're not quite sure what to do with it yet. And again, with the Hierophant, I think it's asking you to look beyond what is immediately being presented in front of you. Maybe it's some type of test to see, what are you going to do with this abundance? What are you going to do with this knowledge? What are you going to do with this idea? Are you going to use it for the greater good, or are you just going to kind of let it go to waste? Because he's just kind of sitting on it. He's not doing anything with it. And there's a look of impatience, a look of waiting for something else, wanting something else. And I think that something else is going to come from you sharing, from you not only sharing, but in the process also learning and gaining a lot of wisdom for yourself, about yourself. And this person's gotten to a point where they're fruitful enough, they feel fruitful enough to go ahead and share, be with other people, collaborate with other people, connect with other people. And I definitely think with the Queen of Swords and it ruling over our thoughts, really, and our ideas and our perspectives, I think this is a matter of shifting your perspective and then taking action. So let's go ahead and see what other messages our spirit guides have for us. I'm going to go ahead and do the Angel Oracle of Abundance something cards. Okay, so group number one, any messages, guidance, abundance for group number one, please. So maybe it does have to do with money. Maybe it does have to do with, is it maybe a fear of losing the abundance, of it not being there anymore? Because I think in that you sharing this abundance, this idea, this newfound something, you're afraid of letting it go. You're afraid of sharing it because you're like, well, what if there's not enough for me left afterwards? And the truth is that everything you put out there comes back to you. And that's just kind of, cause and effect type of thing, I believe. Karma, really. and this card, release resentment about money. It says, yes, the money system of the world can seem upsetting, but holding resentment about finances just pushes your abundance away. Instead, see money as a tool you can use to better the world, and this shift will help you attract and support golden opportunities. So yeah, I definitely think it has to do with going from this energy to this, to sharing, to being fruitful and abundant and wanting to share, and realizing that it brings so much more intellectual fulfillment for you, because there's something that you just learn along the way about sharing, about this wisdom of not being, I don't want to say greedy, but not holding on too tight to something, because otherwise it's just going to disappear. Otherwise it's not going to have any value to you. I think these two cards kind of mirror each other's energy in that there's something being held back, perhaps a fear, a concern of, well, if I share it with other people, why would I do that? Why, I'm just going to go ahead and do it for myself. I'm going to just go ahead and control this whole thing by myself because I can, But releasing that control and bringing yourself to a point where you know that you'll still be able to reap the fruitfulness, the abundance that comes with sharing this knowledge, this money, this resource, this very, very important resource that's asking you to share it. And yeah, okay, so let's go ahead and get a goddess card and see what else I have to say. Oh, two of them came out, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep them. So we have Eve, very beautiful card. And then we have Lady of the Lake. So, one moment. I don't know where here it is. Eve talks about life. The goddess Eve is the mother and nurturer of all life. She is the creator of the world and of all living beings, lady of the beasts and steward of all growing things. Even in the Bible, she is portrayed with a snake, a potent symbol of the vital life force found in every living being, representing the birth and regeneration. It is one of the Gnostics' texts. It is Eve who calls Adam to life. Eve is the embodiment of the primal female creative energy, of the powerful urge to create and sustain life. She is active femininity and related to all lives that lives. She is life itself. So I think this perhaps goes in hand with the Queen of Swords energy that we have here. The powerful urge to create and sustain life. I think with the Queen of Swords, she's mastered her thoughts that she can now bring these things to creation. She's just holding out her hand with one hand and holding the sword in another. She's balanced. And she perhaps finds this balance not from keeping to herself, but keeping her hand open, one hand to herself, it's her, and then the other hand is open to extending it to somebody else. So then we also have Lady of the Lake. Lady of the Lake says, as in many traditions in which a goddess bestows kingship, the Lady of the Lake, a mysterious Celtic goddess, gave King Arthur the sword Excalibur and thus established his power and his right to be king. Before he died, Arthur restored the sword to her, and it now remains with her beneath the waters of the deep. Water, the source of all life, has been the domain of the goddess. Lakes represent both the source of creative power and the land of the dead, life-giving and death, or renewal being the two main functions of the goddess. Water indicates both consciousness and revelation. The Lady of the Lake is a guide to the mysterious realms of the emotion and renewal, a source of immense creativity. She can give us energy when we need to rule our lives. Okay, so yeah, perhaps this whatever it is that you're holding on to, the moment that you kind of decide to share it and be generous with this is when you have these sort of emotional revelations, this newfound inner wisdom for yourself. And you move out of this place of stagnancy, of feeling stagnant, of feeling inadequate, of feeling unfulfilled. I really like this. So, last two decks that we're going to do is a self-affirmation that's going to be at the end. And then we're going to do a card from your animal guides. So any animal guides that want to come through for group number 1. Just in case. Okay. Let me put that. So we have kangaroo. So this might be significant to you, might not. So kangaroo says, as events take on their momentum, you take a true leap forward. So I think this is something that you perhaps have to create the momentum in. It's just a matter of you taking action and doing something, and taking that true leap forward. Yes, you've made it to wherever you are, and you've attained whatever wealth you may have been seeking, or perhaps you're about to come into contact with this abundance that you've been seeking, and you'll know what to do with it. You'll know who to share it with. It's just a matter of, are you willing to let go of the fear that there might not be enough for you, because there will always be enough for you. Abundance is abundance. It never runs out. It is infinite, and this universe is infinite. Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Just go ahead and then do your self-affirmation card. So this is going to be a self-affirmation that might be useful to you. Perhaps a mantra for this next period of your life, or the energy that is currently surrounding you. Okay. Okay. We have pleaser. One day she stopped being a people pleaser because it was sucking the life out of her. So this perhaps may be a sort of warning. Not necessarily warning, that's kind of a scary word, I don't want to do that. To just kind of remind you to also have your own boundaries. Yes, share, do all of these things, but also remember yourself. Also remember the Queen of Swords, who is in control of her thoughts, who has had this mastery to her thoughts and her being, the certainty. So just in the process of sharing, remember that you're not doing this because you're trying to gain other people's approval. You're not trying to please anybody else. This is just something that other people are going to pick up on. That other people are going to be receptive of. Not with any expectations, because setting up those expectations, that's expectations for yourself that you don't need to have. And you're doing this because you're a genuinely kind and generous person, but it's a bit easy to maybe feel like other people's opinions will matter in the process of trying to share this newfound abundance, this newfound information, intelligence, wisdom. So yeah, that is what I'm seeing for pile number 1. Please let me know if anything resonated. If it didn't, let me know too, that's fine. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the reading, and I'm going to go ahead, move on to pile number 2, but not before. Go ahead and thank my guides, your guides, angels, spirit guides, and the universe for these messages. I'm very grateful for your being. and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye. Okay, so hi, pile number 2. If you chose this crystal, this is going to go ahead and be your reading. I've already gone ahead, shuffled the cards, and flipped them over for you. And immediately, I have a sense of frustration, a sense of kind of being really irritated with ourselves over something. There's a lot of reversals here, so let's start with the High Priestess. Usually the High Priestess upright is that we're very in tune with our intuition, we are on the right path, we could be on the right path. Having balance, having duality, but in the reverse, I think it's maybe asking you to take some time to be introspective, to sit with yourself, to hang out with yourself. And it doesn't necessarily mean like listening to music, because it's not hanging out with yourself that's listening to music. I mean genuinely sitting with yourself and your thoughts, as the Four of Pentacles is in the middle. He's frustrated, he doesn't know what to do, he's just kind of looking forward, he's waiting for more, and he wants more, but I don't think he really quite knows how to get more, how to be satisfied, how to find that balance, this fulfillment. And we have 2 knights. We have the Knight of Cups, and the Cups typically has to do with our hearts, with our emotions, with what it is that we want. And then we also have the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. So I feel like there is some pressure being exerted, because you see both of them are going towards the, you can see it, both of the knights are going towards the Four of Pentacles, and it's creating this pressure and perhaps inability to think, and this frustration that it's like, why isn't this coming to me? Why can't I figure this out? And I think in some sense, maybe this might stem from something with having really high ideals, or having very strong idealizations about certain things in your life. Perhaps connections with other people, even yourself, considering with the Knight of Cups being here and it wanting to serve what is best for his heart. There might be a disruption or a misbalance in some aspect of your life, or perhaps you not figuring this one thing out, or feeling like you need to figure this one thing out, is causing a disruption and pressure both on yourself and perhaps disruptions in the connections around you. Now, whether this is romantic or not I can't say, because this is a very general reading, and so I don't want to be too specific, but I've gone ahead and pulled out this card, the King of Wands in the reverse, to sort of figure out what it is that we can do about this pressure that you're kind of placing on yourself, this need for perfectionism. And I think the High Priestess in reverse but suggests for you to be introspective, to sit with yourself and your thoughts, perhaps in meditation or taking time to journal. Because there's something here that you're perhaps maybe stuck in perhaps stuck in kind of anxiety, or just either like really over criticizing yourself, or just kind of getting frustrated with yourself because the answers aren't coming to you right away, and it's leading you to this frustrated point where you have what you need, it's right there, you just are very caught up in this energy of but it's not coming to me, it's not this, and it's not. And I say that because as I was shuffling this deck, I started feeling really frustrated once the messages started coming out, and I was like, what is this telling me? Why, I can't figure it out, what does this mean? And I was like, oh, it's the whole energy of this pile, of this frustration. And usually with the King of Wands upright, it's mastery, over an idea, over a concept, perhaps having to do with like our career, school, education, real life, something. But in the reverse, it's, there's a lot of pressure. You don't have that mastery. Perhaps you feel like you're almost there, but you're like, oh, I don't know. It's not quite there. It's not like, I'm missing something and something. And I feel like perhaps you're putting so much pressure on yourself that you're blocking yourself from being like, oh, duh, it's right there. It's right in front of me. And so I think, ultimately, I think you will be okay. I think it's just a matter of you being in your own way, you kind of coming at yourself from two different angles instead of laying off and being like, you know what? I don't really know what this is right now. I don't understand this right now. I don't quite know what the answer is right now, but that's okay because I can always make time to sit with myself, connect to my intuition, and just simply be, allowed to come to me. So I'm going to go ahead and drink some water first. I'm going to go ahead and pull out some Angels of Abundance Oracle cards just to see what other energy there may be. Go ahead and set that over there, this tiny little table. I actually refurbished and painted this myself, so pretty proud of that. So Angel Abundance cards for group number 2. Angel Abundance cards for group number 2, please. Say it like it's an order from a restaurant. Sorry, it's a joke. Group number 2. So we have conscious consumer. I'll actually look at the image. There it is. You have the power to heal and help the world with your decision to buy only products and services that are ethical and environmentally friendly. As a conscious consumer, you choose to invest in fair trade and organic goods. You live simply and you purchase only that which you need. So perhaps this has to do with the Pentacle energy. It might be feeling pressure about making money, how it is that you're going to make more money. I don't know, that might just be for a couple of you. I'm going to go ahead and then do another one. I really appreciate y'all being patient with me, by the way, as I get to do more tarot and stuff, because I really enjoy it. I'm just very, I don't know, I always get afraid of telling people the wrong thing and giving them the wrong information, and then it's like, but it didn't help me, and that's why I try to remind everybody to, like, if it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So more abundance, more abundance. Okay, that one flipped over, so we'll do that one. Okay, so visualize abundance in all forms. God gave you such great spiritual power that everything you visualize eventually will come to reality. Hold a steady vision of that which is beautiful, healthful, positive, and filled with blessings, and this is what you experience. So maybe it's pressure to manifest something. Perhaps pressure on yourself because you maybe feel like you're not good enough, you're not worthy enough, you're not this, you're not that. And generally just applying a lot of unnecessary anxiety and pressure on yourself, and it's asking you to take time for yourself and to sit with yourself, to kind of help you release these blockages and let go of some of the pressure that you might be exerting on yourself or other circumstances around you are exerting over you. And one of these cards is about, like financial abundance, and then the other one is just about abundance in all forms. So for a good number of you, this might have to do with money. And then for others of you, it might just be, looking beyond money, and other types of abundance that are more fulfilling to our cup, to our heart. So let's go ahead and look at some goddess cards, see what they have to say. Number 2. Because I think the answers are within you. I think it's right there in front of you, but okay, yeah, I'll do that one. But it's just a matter of genuinely taking the time to sit with yourself in stillness and allowing it to come to you rather than just forcing it out. Because, I don't know, it just seems like it's right there. Another goddess cards that may come up. So we have Lady of the Lake. It's really interesting. The first group actually got the 4 of Pentacles and Lady of the Lake as well. So Lady of the Lake reads, as in many traditions in which a goddess bestows kingship, the Lady of the Lake, a mysterious Celtic goddess, gave King Arthur the sword Excalibur and thus established his power and his right to be king. Before he died, Arthur restored the sword to her, and it now remains with her beneath the waters of the deep. Water, the source of all life, has been the domain of the goddess. Lakes represent both the source of the creative power and the land of the dead. Life-giving and death or renewal brings the 2 main functions of the goddess. Water indicates both consciousness and revelation. The Lady of the Lake is a guide to the mysterious realms of the emotion and renewal, a source of immense creativity. She can give us energy when we need to rule our lives. So this is really, really reminding me of the High Priestess, because it talks about life-giving and death or renewal being the 2 main functions of the goddess. Water indicates both consciousness and revelation, and we have imagery of 2, we have darkness and then we have the light, and it's a balance, it's duality, it's being able to do both and not just when I say both, I mean I'm trying to get words for this because I have thoughts. So I think it's going into your consciousness and allowing both the heart space and your brain to work together, to work as brain and heart connected. Because I feel like maybe with the King of Cups or the Knight of Cups going towards Pentacles applying pressure, there's perhaps too much coming in from your heart space, and then the 10 of Cups in the reverse as well. There's a lot of heart space energy going on. And it's going towards his Pentacles, towards, we also have the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse, so there is a bit of an imbalance in the mind as well, but I think you will be able to find more of this balance in sitting with yourself and connecting more with your intuition, following that intuition. Sorry, this is reversed. And yeah, indicating both consciousness and revelation, and perhaps this revelation comes through your consciousness, and being able to balance the heart space. So, sorry, the messages might be, hopefully this is all making sense. I just realized that this is a general reading, so I feel like there might be messages here and there for everybody, but anyways, what am I doing? Okay, we're gonna do the Animal Guides tarot deck. Not tarot deck, but just cards. So let's see what messages the Animal Guides have for you. And this might also indicate, certain animals or symbolism that might be important to you. They might resonate with you. They might not. And it's okay. Any animal guides want to come through for card number 2, please? Card number 2. But yeah, no, I definitely feel a lot of frustration from this group, and I really want to let you know that you're doing fine. Like, honestly, you're not as stuck as you think you are. I do really think you just need to kind of learn how to slow your brain down a little bit so you can not think on every single anxious thought that you experience. So we have a parrot. Oh, this is so cute. I love this. Let sunshine revitalize your soul, into color transform your world. So yeah, definitely got to connect to your intuition more. You got to connect to the brain, the higher self more. And maybe some way that you can do this is sitting in color and sunshine. Usually it's sunshine color, I think of nature because it naturally produces very vibrant colors. And we also have tiger. Passion and adventure beckon. Ooh, I like that. So maybe there's less stagnancy. Maybe there's actually movement. You find more passion in sitting with yourself, more fulfillment. So we also, so we do have a parrot and a tiger. So either of those might be significant to you. And then lastly, I'm going to go ahead and do goddess cards. Yes, we did. Yeah, we did the angel cards. Okay. We're going to go ahead and do some women in the hourglass affirmation cards. So this might be a mantra that might be helpful to you during this period. It can also just be like general advice or like a heads up type of thing. Just take it how it resonates. Two of them came out. So we've got simplify. One day she woke up and decided to simplify everything. What did I just say? I just said things aren't as complicated as they seem. And we also have wings. One day she woke up and discovered she'd grown wings. So with wings, it reminds me of something otherworldly, and I think these two both very much are indicating that your intuition has the answers, the stillness has the answers for you. And maybe it's not even answers, maybe it's just realizing that this whole time you didn't have to be applying all this pressure to yourself, exerting all of this pressure from so many different angles. And you can let go of the idealization, you can let go of this 10 of Cups in reverse. It is just like either perfectionism or just an over-idealization of something, and being able to get the King of Wands to be upright and having that mastery over these ideas. Perhaps you gain a lot more clarity once you're able to sit with yourself. And again, please don't be difficult on yourself. Like, you're not doing anything wrong. Whatever situation, whatever conflict, whatever question it is that you're trying to resolve, but you're just applying all this pressure on yourself for, there's no need for that because you're doing your best. Seriously, it's just overcomplicating everything. I'll read this to y'all one more time so that maybe you can go ahead and read these to yourselves. One day they decided to wake up, or one day they woke up and decided to simplify everything. One day they woke up and discovered they'd grown wings. So that is what I'm seeing for y'all. And connecting with yourself, perhaps this might come in the form of nature. This can come in the form of sitting with yourself and visualizing different for yourself. Choosing to invest in yourself, choosing to invest in time alone and time with your intuition, and trusting yourself more and letting go of some of that pressure, because it's just unnecessary and really causing blockages for what it is that you're trying to understand for yourself or get the answers for. So I'm going to go ahead and in the reading there, please let me know if anything resonated, or if it didn't. I'd really love to know. That'd be pretty cool. As well as any comments that you have about how I was speaking or how I can make this better. So yeah, appreciate it. Lastly, I want to thank my guides, your guides, spirit, higher selves, and the universe for taking part in this reading and helping us see what messages they had for you. So I hope you have a very wonderful rest of your day wherever you are. I love you unconditionally, and I really appreciate you. Okay, bye. Hi, so if you chose pile number 3, this is your crystal. This is going to be a reading. So I did record this, but unfortunately, I don't know why my camera stopped. So I'm just going to go ahead and redo this for y'all. There's no worries, no concerns. So what I'd gotten from the first 2 cards, we have the 2 of Wands in reverse and the 3 of Wands in reverse. And actually I'll include the 3rd card, the King of Wands in reverse, is that, here, it goes this way better so you can see it better. It's like that, right? Yeah, you can see it, there you go. So, what I was getting from these cards is that there's something that you are doing, something that you're investing your time into, a big portion of you, that you're not really getting an investment on. This is probably something emotional, maybe perhaps a pattern or a behavior that you're engaging in. This might be a connection to somebody else too. But from what you can see, this person is trying to give him the world, trying to give him a big part of him, trying to hide somebody your world is a lot. That's a pretty big thing to do, and he's not even really looking. He's still looking away. He's looking for something else. He's looking for a different horizon than what this person is offering. And I think this represents sort of an overexertion of yourself, of an energy or a resource or something that you don't need to anymore, because you're not going to get what you want out of it. And with the King of Wands in reverse, it talks about, in the upright, it's a mastery of his thoughts, of this idea of being in alignment with his truest and highest self. But in the reverse, it's like, it's a lack of balance. It's a sharpness of just, this doesn't feel right. This isn't doing anything for me. And I definitely feel like there's something that needs to be released. There's something that you're still doing, that you're still surrounding yourself with, that is preventing you from accepting this Hanged Man energy, because in the upright it talks about a bit of a serendipity where, life can be kind of really wild sometimes, but still really enjoyable, and this energy just mostly reminds us that there are times where we just need to come to acceptance with the circumstances and the wildness of that life that we live. And it's asking you to, in the reverse, take some time to be introspective, because there's some sort of resistance. There's still this pattern that's keeping, the King of Cups from really filling up his cup. Because his foot is right there. It's almost in the water, but he doesn't quite want to put his foot in the water because he's hesitant about something in the reverse. He's looking around and he's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. But in reality, he just kind of needs to release and accept this energy that's coming in, because this situation, this pattern, it's not serving you. You're giving so much into it, and for what? When this energy, this pattern, this person is not even looking at you. So why would you keep trying to hand the world over to them? You see what I mean? And with the Strength card here, it's reminding you of the strength that already lies within your being. Whatever it is that you're afraid of to let go of for whatever reason, the strength is already there in the upright. It is the only card in this whole deck that is, or in the spread, that is upright. And it is telling you that it's all within you. Whatever you need, it's all within you. And I mean that in a sense that, energetically what you need is within you. The strength is within you. You have to feed your own tiger. You got to fill your own cup up first. And I don't think you're filling up your cup right now. I think you're giving too much of yourself into something that is bringing you a lot of unbalance and is not bringing you enough happiness. It's not bringing you the reward that you deserve for it. So why would you further invest your energy into that? And I think the universe has been trying to tell you that, because there feels like a lot of resistance in this pile. A lot of, well, no, I'm just gonna turn a blind eye, pretend I don't see it, but it's right there. It's right in front of you. It's right here. You just don't want to put your foot in the water. You don't really want to admit that to yourself, and I'm here to admit it to you. So yeah, I think this is talking about making time to be introspective, withdrawing yourself from certain situations and reevaluating what it is that you truly want to invest your energy into, because there's something that's not fulfilling you. There's something that's not giving you the outcome that you want, and you're not going to find that outcome, especially with this much resistance, because that is the universe having been in your face telling you that this isn't for you. And it's asking you to listen to your intuition, to feed that strength of yours, so that way you can sharpen it up and you can help yourself first before you're trying to invest into this something else. I feel like this might be a particular person or a negative pattern or a perspective that you keep kind of applying to yourself or applying from yourself, and it's really just taking away from you more than it's really giving back. So then where'd they go? Oh, there. So with the Angel Oracle cards, we have Words of Abundance and Organize for Success. So Words of Abundance says you have the ability to instantly manifest abundance by choosing powerfully positive words. Always describe your own and the world's economic situation in loving and optimistic terms, and that is what you attract for yourself and others. So I think right now, words of abundance, that might speak to something. Maybe it's a way that you talk to yourself, a way that you treat yourself, that you don't really need to be doing anymore. Perhaps you're not really talking to yourself nicely. Perhaps you're not treating yourself nicely. Perhaps you get really angry at yourself and you're like, but why? Why would I? When you're doing your best, you've always been doing your best, and you should absolutely love yourself for it. But right now, it's asking you to be mindful of the words that you speak, both about yourself and the world that is around you, because that is what you create. That is the vision, or that is the reality that you will envision and that you will perceive. And perspective is everything. Perspective is so, so important. And I think right now there is definitely a lack of broader perspective. Because, usually in the upright, this is about, moving forward, about going forward with some idea, some actions, and being in alignment with that idea. And being like, I got it, I figured it out, I know what to do, I know where to go, and now it's just a matter of taking action. And the Three of Wands upright talks about, broadening your horizons. He's looking into the horizon. He's looking for more, because there is more. But I don't think you really see that right now. And perhaps you're investing too much energy, too much of your thought, too much of your time into this perspective that isn't really serving you anymore. It's not helpful to you. It's not... Maybe at some point in time it helped you cope and survive, but that's not really how things are right now, and it's asking you to call in this inner strength and this Hanged Man energy to turn it in the upright and to accept it, because you're not living as your truest self right now. I can tell you that for a fact. But I don't feel like you're living as your authentic self. I think you're denying yourself of the ability to live as your authentic self, because you can, but I think there's an energy that is holding you back, that is causing this resistance that you ultimately have control of and can release, and are reminded of the strength that is already there within you. And I know I keep saying the strength within you, but it's just, that's what really keeps coming to mind, is that in this period of maybe perhaps feeling scared, the strength is in you, and it is around you by your spirit guide supporting you and being there for you. And also me, I totally love you and support you from wherever I am. So anyways, the other card says organize for success, and this card tells us, do not let the word organize intimidate you, as it is simply a way for you to ensure clarity of purpose. Organizing your thoughts, your reports, your living and workspace, and your finances will help you know and plan your next action steps. So maybe right now you're scared because you don't feel like there's a sense of direction when you enter this hangman energy, but the thing is, you're not going to find direction where you are right now either. What you're doing right now is not going to give you the direction that you're seeking, and that will ultimately serve your greatest and highest self. It's asking you to organize your thoughts, reinvest that energy into yourself, and in the form of unconditional love and compassion and patience for yourself, because that's ultimately all you can do. And that is also gratitude, unconditional love, compassion, patience, and gratitude. And I think those four are really just like very strong words of abundance. So I would definitely ask you to adopt a more compassionate, a more patient, a more unconditionally loving, and a more gratitude attitude, perspective, in entering this hanged man energy that you've perhaps been resisting. And also organizing your space too, like literally organizing your space can help you clear your mind a bit, and can also maybe help you feel a little bit better about yourself, because you're like, oh, I was productive in this, but your productive is not measured by your output, just putting that out there. But yeah, I think organizing your headspace right now is what you need to do, rather than giving into this pattern, giving into this perspective, giving into this person more than you already have, because it's not serving you anymore, and it's not going to take you to where you need to be and where you want to be. So next we have these goddess cards. This is Changing Woman and Hell. So Changing Woman tells us, Changing Woman is perhaps the most revered of deities among the Native Americans of the southwestern United States. She is a wholly benevolent figure, for it is Changing Woman who gives people their abundance and who provides the teachings that allow them to live in harmony with all things. In the initiation ceremony of Navajo women, the initiate takes in the power of the Changing Woman so that she might learn the value of love, hospitality, and generosity, and know that she herself is a source of food and harmony. Changing Woman received her name because she can change at will from baby to a girl, to a young woman, to an old woman, and then back again. Very much alive today, she is a tremendously nourishing goddess who teaches the wisdom of nature and the cycles of birth and death. So I feel like this is perhaps a closing of a cycle for you. There's a cycle that's trying to end and close, but there is a bit of resistance because you keep going back to this cycle, you keep going back to this pattern, you keep going back to this perspective that isn't serving you. And I think this Changing Woman card is indicating that there is something that needs to be released for you to kind of be reborn, a certain part of you to kind of rise again into a better and greater self. And then Hell tells us she is the Norse queen of the underworld, a mother goddess in her underworld guise. She rules over a fiery womb of regeneration and is especially responsible for those who die of disease or old age. Her underworld, unlike the Christian hell, which received its name from her, is simply an otherworld, a place of renewal rather than a place of punishment and misery. When northern shamans visit her realm, they put on the hell cap, a magic mask, sometimes a helmet, that renders them invisible. It is possible that masked harlequin, a standard character in Commedia dell'arte, was originally one of the kindred of the goddess Hell. Hell is an embodiment of the divine mystery, a challenge to look behind the mask of appearances to see things as they really are. So your spirit guides are calling you to look at the situation for what it really is and stop denying to yourself that you need to release this and that you need to let it go and accept this new energy of introspection, of being a little bit more alone right now, and it being okay, because all of the resilience is already within you. Everything that you need is already within you. And it's about coming into balance with what is this water that is flowing around you, and you know, your cup being full, but through yourself and by yourself. You know, through words of abundance, kindness, compassion, gratitude, unconditional love, patience. Excuse me. And oh, does this have to do with your throat chakra too? Yeah, I think there's a truth. You're not really speaking to yourself. There's definitely a truth that you're not really wanting to see, that you're not challenging yourself to see. And it's asking you to do that for yourself, to release attachment, to release whatever it is that's holding you back from accepting this new energy at the end of the cycle. So that way you can better organize your thoughts, and you can better organize for success, and you can better speak abundance into your life. And let's see, we also have the 2 animal guide cards, which we got the octopus and a red squirrel. So the octopus tells us, travel across earth and over sea to securely embrace your dream. So I think there's some movement that needs to happen for you in order for you to receive this abundance perspective, to receive this type of success. You know, traveling across earth and sea reminds you of just kind of moving far away from something, maybe by yourself, to be able to truly focus and be introspective and listening to your intuition, and getting back into alignment with yourself, with what should be the King of Wands upright. Because right now you're not in alignment with your path. There's some habit, there's some emotion, there's some thought pattern, perhaps a connection that isn't serving you. It's not in alignment with who you really are and who you truly want to be. And Red Squirrel tells us, gather your resources now, for they will sustain you through coming change. So yeah, definitely something that you're doing that it's not serving you anymore, and it's asking you to take that back. It's taking you to take back that energy and refocus it, reshift it, change your perspective about it, and organize it better. Speak more abundance into it. Speak more of it as abundance. Again, love, compassion, patience, gratitude. Showing all of those things, especially to yourself right now at this time, because that is what's going to really highlight your strength, and it's going to really build that foundation for yourself that you absolutely deserve to have, so that way you can have abundance whenever you want, because the abundance is created by you, for you, through you. But you can't do that when you're not really challenging yourself to be like, look, I can't keep doing this to myself. I can't keep putting my energy into this because this thing isn't even looking at me. This thing doesn't even care about me. Doesn't have my best interest at heart. You know, whether it's intentional or not. It's just something that needs to be released at this time. It's okay to be selfish, seriously. Selfish isn't a bad word. So lastly, I'm going to give you some self-affirmation cards. These can be little mantras that might be helpful around this time. So we have forgive and love. Forgive. One day she decided to forgive herself. So I think definitely during this time it's really important for you to be kind to yourself, to forgive yourself, and forgive yourself for this attachment. Forgive yourself for taking so long to reach into this energy, because I feel like you're going to start having these realizations where you're like, oh, but God, it was so easy. I should have just done this all along. I don't know why I didn't. No. It doesn't matter, because ultimately you were doing your best, and that's all you could ever ask of yourself. And you should absolutely love yourself for it. You know, one of my favorite mantras is, I love myself, or I'm doing my best and I love myself for it. And I tell myself that every single day, no matter what I'm doing, because it's really easy to get caught up in the fact that we could have and should have done this, but it doesn't matter because it is what it is and there's nothing wrong with what already is. So it might be something that you might be like running into as you go into this new energy. And then love says, one day she woke up and decided to love herself more than she ever thought possible. And very quickly, these aren't like gendered, by the way. This is just like what the cards say. You don't have to be a she. So I just wanted to clear that up. So yeah, one day she woke up and decided to love herself more than she ever thought possible. I don't think I even have to explain that. That's just a very beautiful card in itself. You're learning how to love yourself. You're learning how to create success and abundance for yourself by organizing and reinvesting in yourself. And taking that power back for yourself and realizing that you are the one that creates the reality that you want. Because right now, I don't think the reality that you have is the one that you want or the one that you're very fulfilled with, but it's ultimately in your hands. It's ultimately a matter of what am I putting my energy into, what am I putting my time into, and how can I put it somewhere where it helps me and builds me up into the best version of myself that I can be, while also still, you know, being compassionate with myself and letting, you know, certain past actions or regrets go. And you do that by going back into this Hanged Man energy and releasing resistance, releasing whatever it is that's not serving you anymore, and embodying that strength and building up that strength because it's already there. It's just right now is going to be a period where that's really elevated. That inner strength is going to really call on you. That inner perspective, that intuition is going to call on you, and it's going to ask you to spend more time with it. Because this is all a process of learning how to love yourself and creating abundance from loving yourself, from expressing gratitude for yourself, from organizing for yourself, doing these things for yourself. So yeah, that is what I'm getting for my pile number 3s. And let me know if any of this resonated with you. I'd love to hear your comments. And I want to thank your guides, my guides, spirit guides, angels, the universe, and our higher selves for channeling these messages. And I have so much gratitude for you, and I love you so unconditionally. Wherever you are, I hope you have a very, very wonderful, wonderful rest of your night. Okay, bye.